All right, friends, are you ready for the great Kentucky adventure? Look at that. There's some stuff on the trailer. I just got back. But anyway, I'll tell you more about it right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver, man. Today's video, you're going to find out all about this. I left super early in the morning, so it's totally dark. So I filmed a little bit at the very beginning, but that's kind of pointless filming in the dark. So you're going to watch the footage in order, and then I'll bring you back at the end and we'll talk about it. So here you go. What do you think, Buddy the dog? Is this going to be a ridiculous adventure? Probably. I'll have to pet you with the camera hand. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we have all of our tires and everything we need. This may be the most foolish thing I've ever done, and it may be a fun time. I don't know, but we will soon find out. All right, friends, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, you're probably not seeing this one either because it's pretty dark. But we are starting out on an adventure. This will either be a great success or one of my worst failures. So stay tuned to find out. But we are on our way down to Etzel, Kentucky, home of viewer David, who is the keeper of the flame of the Oliver 5 and 600 registry after Nelson died. Anyway, we're not going to get one of those. What we're doing is, he messaged me and said, would you be interested in an Oliver 3-point disc? And I said, yeah. Those are kind of hard to find. I've got one, but it's not great. And then he said, also, would you want a 550 diesel with bad back rims? And I said, yeah, I would, if the price is right. And the price was right. So I said, I'll take both. The problem is, it's about 3 hours away. So that's a lot farther than my normal travel circle. But we're gonna try it anyway, you know? What's the worst that could happen? We burst into flames and we die? Why? If that's all that could go wrong, then who's worried about anything, you know? But I figured if I wanted to somewhat save my day and have mostly daylight, it would be better to start off in the dark, because that way when it's loaded, I'll be coming back in daylight, and if there's trouble, I'll have some daylight to work with. So that's what we're doing. But I'll have to bring you back when there's something more exciting to show you, because this is nothing. So I will bring you back when it's, you know, daylight. Going through a tunnel, I guess. I hope we still have all of our pieces. This would be a bad place to break down. But at least there's lights. I can see the trailer's still back there, so that's something. I think we've still got about 2 hours of this journey left. So, what a thrill, friends. What a thrill. Is every mile of every interstate everywhere under construction? Because it seems like no matter which direction I travel, the road is always crap. It's tore up. They're always doing something. And it's been that way for 40 years. I don't get it. I mean, the guys who built the interstate originally made it last, and then all of a sudden, now we've been doing construction on it for years and years and years. I don't get it, but whatever. So, I think we're about like an hour and a half away, and it's starting to get more daylight. I'm still equally as tired as I was when I started. But sure. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do here either, because there's signs that say, you know, trucks with trailers use left lane, but then there's other signs immediately after that says, okay, that one says now use right lane. And then some of them say keep right except to pass. So I don't know, just pick a lane and go, I guess. Seems like that's what everybody else does. So hopefully we don't get a ticket, but it wouldn't be our first, so sure. But I'll bring you back when we, you know, are more near our journey, our destination point, I guess you'd say. I have no idea what that thing is, but it's big and it's orange. Sure. Well, we've officially left the interstate. We're beginning our mountainous, windy climb, apparently. So I don't know, it says we're like 40 minutes away, but I'm sure that's because we can only go super slow. Lots of old houses out here. Kind of neat, old buildings. They have a very distinctive style of barn building, you know. There's some bovines grazing down there. Sure. Looking pretty fat and sassy. Well, I better focus on navigating this, so I'll bring you back, hopefully, maybe when we get there. Well, there's a New Holland and Agco dealer all wrapped up in one, so that's pretty cool. Just driving through the small towns, it looks like. I stopped at the old Dollar General and at a gas station, so that kind of put me behind, but oh well. I think I need to turn here, so I better pay attention. 0.5 miles I need to turn, so.
At the next light, turn right.
Well, thank you. There's a light, apparently. Thank you, computer machine. What would I do without you? All right, we're about 10 miles away. I'm supposed to meet my contact at the B&E Frosty Freeze. So we'll see what that is. I'm not sure if this is, I've been calling it Etzel, Kentucky, but maybe it's pronounced a different way. The GPS calls it Azel, so I don't know. We'll ask the resident what the official, you know, name is, so we don't keep butchering it the rest of the time. But we should be there. 9.3 miles. And then he's gonna lead us on to where the treasure is located. We should be almost there. Good grief. That section I just went through was pretty narrow and windy. So, boy, is that gonna be fun pulling the tractor back on it. You know, basically, there's not a flat spot anywhere you look. Everything is on an incline.
1 mile, the destination is on your
Why,
right.
thank you,
And
computer
Frosty
box.
Freeze.
Thank you. I wouldn't have figured that out. 0.9 miles, huh? I think he said he was going to be in a red square body Chevrolet, so. We'll keep an eye out for that. 0.3 miles. It's going to be around a curve, and we'll miss it. Is this the B&E Frosty Freeze? Nope, not yet. This must be the local gas station. The convenience center. Don't blink or you'll miss it. But I bet you that's him right there. Looks like him. The last section there was pretty treacherous, but
what?
I said that last section of highway was pretty.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that's
I actually thought maybe you was pulling a gooseneck, so your truck pulling a trailer. It's a lot heavier than mine, but not even a whole lot bigger than mine. So
It should be easy to get there.
It ain't like you're driving a rig. Well, if you want to, you can follow me in.
All right.
And
Works for me. All right. We're gonna go find a treasure. I'll bring you back when we get there because I gotta navigate. This must be the narrow section of road he was talking about, where the locals just park their vehicle right in the center of it so that they can visit with friends. That's fine though.
You got one of this, don't you?
I've got one, but mine's needs some work, so I figure at least make one out of two, you know. Or probably make two, and one really good one and one that's in...
And then one for the market.
Yeah, one for the market, that's right. Or one that I let people borrow when they come and say, I want to borrow your stuff, because usually the good one comes back destroyed, if you know how that goes. Yeah, keep it out of sight.
It's out of sight, out of mind. I keep mine in the barn and two tractors in front of it right now. Well, I never checked it. What's the shape the string box in?
This, oh. Well, it turns the directions, I think, doesn't it?
That's what I was afraid of. That's the way a lot of them are.
Well, it seems to be. Or is that side not moving?
Yeah,
that is.
Moving.
That's pretty good. I mean, really, that's pretty good.
I know. Yeah, we had one power steering.
Yeah, I just got done rebuilding a power steering box on one for somebody. That one needs to go. It's been there for like 3 years, and it just...
I just come up with a set of them wheels for Jerry Jackson.
Those spin outs?
Yeah, $700 a piece.
I know, they're not cheap when you find them, but...
$700.
I got connections, I don't know, you know.
You better keep it.
Yeah.
This was a decent connection that I had. It wasn't that right home. I thought the wheel was broke off. It's actually coming off the wheel where there's no wheel.
Yeah, there's no more wheel.
Yeah. When I sent you them pictures, I wasn't paying any attention. I thought the wheel was broke off, but it's not. It's just no wheel.
What's that? I will here shortly because I use it to spray the fence rows. That's the handiest little thing for that, you know. Yeah, they start. I like to drive it better than the 550 or the Super 55, you know. They're just a nice little tractor.
I'm almost down the track. What? I am almost down the track.
Probably. We'll let him get it down there. I guess I could just ratchet strap around it, but...
I've seen you on video. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry there wasn't something better on.
Are you trying to say you had a lot of time on it?
Yeah, he must have had a lot of nothing else. Yeah. Well, they're on so late, you know.
I'm going to take it for the record.
Well, thank you. For the record, there we go.
There's a lot of officers down here.
It's hard to find them in person anymore. That's just it's about a thing of the past. Everybody wants to do that online stuff.
That's the way they're doing this car auctions a lot. All out there before I quit like this home stuff.
Yeah.
You go to a realtor and they tell you how good it is, how bad you need it and all that. They start telling me that.
Oh, I never checked that. Seems to be. If it's got any gears left, it may.
That and
I'd say the tires probably aren't.
no, and I say the brakes they're bad to stick on them. They say it ain't they? They're bad to stick on some of them when they don't set. My grandpa had a 64 model.
Okay.
It had the fiberglass grill in it. I tried to buy it back, and the guy found out that he'd had it he'd probably had it, I don't know, I'd say 20 years by that time. And I found it, and he found out that it was my grandpa's, and he was going to hoodoo me on it. I wound up not buying it. I'd like to have it at fair market price.
Yeah, that's the problem though. Sometimes people's idea of what it's worth is a lot
I didn't want to give him $1,000 more than it's worth. Now, you correct. 62 had the bar grill.
Yeah.
63 had the checkerboard.
Ooh. No, I would have thought that happened in later than that, like 64 or 5. But I might be wrong on that. See, then what complicates it further is they offered that deal to the dealers where you could buy the new grill and swap it out for the ones you still had on your lot.
That's right.
To update them and get rid of them, you know. So there's a lot of mixed match ones, just like 770s. There's a lot of them with the different grill, even though they're really older stuff, you know.
I forgot about that. You're right. I forgot about that. They got switched out after they got changed. After they went to the fiberglass checkerboard, they got switched out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the guys have told me, and that's what I was going by. Said 62 was bar and 63 was checkerboard. Now, like I said, I'm talking behind, you know, the people that.
And that could be. I mean, that could be because I guess the 1600, and 1800 were in probably 61, 2, and 3. So yeah, I mean, maybe by the 50 series is when they came out with them.
Like I said, I'm just talking behind what they told me, and I forgot about the switch out deal though. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, there's a service bulletin or something on that I've seen where
you're right,
offering that to them. So
I remember that now.
I don't know how hard it's going to be, but I'm thinking like nose first on there myself.
Here's your calcium.
Hey, that's good.
Well, that'll help you trade on.
Yeah, well, your driveway's not going to grow any weeds, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I'm
that's.
afraid I'd make flat spots on my dragon.
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Yeah,
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I've had 2 go flat there. Sold a tractor before we got it delivered to the tar. Put a tube in it, done everything right. Go around, sat in there for 2 days, come back to the flat tar.
Oh no.
Sold it, sat over maybe a week, called, said tar's flat again.
Yeah.
I just called somebody to go fix it.
Well, what was the matter with it? Now, why was it?
Firestone tubes.
Yeah, I agree. I had a tractor years ago when I bought my 1855. I had no idea anything condition about it because I had just bought it, and the tire went flat, so I called the tire shop to come out and fix it. Well, it took them 7 tries before they finally got it. It kept going flat in the shed, and that one time it was against the wall, and I had to work to get in there to even get it aired up to get it out of there. And I told that guy, I said, if you'd just clean it before you put that on there, you'd save a lot of headache. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me nothing, you know. So, yeah, it took about 7 tries and 7 tubes before they figured it out.
By that time, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, by that time, he didn't come out and do it. Another guy did, so they must have, yeah. It's a treasure.
Well, the disc probably is not such an issue. You can pick that up.
No, pick it up.
This here will be the people.
No, it shouldn't be. You can back up to it. We tie the arms up.
You want to put it on that way, or you want to put it on nose first?
I don't care.
I think nose first would probably be easier, wouldn't it? Because then if you got to lift it up, then you can.
Well, lift it up that track, you can back under it.
Well, there you go. You could do that.
If you lift the whole thing.
Or at least to lift the back and then just nose it up. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You back up and go right on it.
Yeah.
I should.
Well, I'll drive around
Well,
here
I
then.
can
If you
lift up one, you can lift up the other.
Yeah, from each side. I've done that a lot too. I've done a lot of stuff that Steph wasn't designed to do.
Oh,
You know?
I seen one of your videos. You had a tractor on each side,
Yeah, when I unloaded that combine and stuff the other day,
and you back and pulled.
I had three. I had one. I had one on each back, and then I had the little 550 holding the tongue level and drive out.
This was something else, though.
That could have been years ago when we took that, when I got that 1755 and it had that 5209 mower on there. I did the same thing. Put one on each side and then put the 550 on the tongue. And, yep.
I had a 451 New Holland mower.
Uh-huh.
I got in this deal. I sold it for about $800.
That's pretty good.
Really? You know, here's the thing.
I generally get 12 out.
Oh, really?
But here's the thing. Nobody uses sycamore.
I know. It's.
But when you go to sell, you go to bid on it, you can't buy it.
I know.
I know. I don't know where they go. I mean, I guess they use them for mowing around ponds and fences. You know. You know.
I have sold 8 or 10 of them in the last 4 or 5.
Wow. All right, the plan as it sits is me get around it and we're gonna shove it on nose first, which is kind of what I was thinking, and then we'll put the disc on however it fits. But they want to get the tractor on first. Our goal here is not to destroy any of the guy's stuff in the process of doing this. I'd say
pound. I don't think we're there yet, are we?
Not yet.
My little baskets are kind of in the way, but
Do what?
so my little baskets are kind of in the way, but
Well, you haul a lot of stuff in them, though.
I know they proved to be so handy. I just can't take them off.
I put a box on my tongue. Mine had a brace on it, so I took it off. Put a box there, and then put that another brace on there. I just recycled it on mine. Which mine ain't near this heavy. Mine's one of them 7,000.
It's like what I got, that other one I got.
And everybody thinks you can haul 7,000 pounds on
Yeah,
7,000 pound trailer. No, that's gross weight on the ground, 7,000 pounds. They get confused with gross weight. Which, of course, when you drive a truck, you know, that gross weight, you know, you understand. Welcome to Ezel. Have you seen that car sitting in the middle of the road?
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought,
Welcome to Ezel.
That's a typical small town thing.
I thought.
And you answered another question, which is it's Ezel. I wasn't sure how it was pronounced.
Well, out here it's pronounced.
I called it Etzel, and I didn't know that.
Well, it's been pronounced Ezel and Zell and all of them. The old timers, we all just, as country folks, always call it Ezel.
Ezel.
Yeah. So your life is complete because you have been. In
I've been to Ezel, Kentucky. Yeah, my life is complete. Well, so far this is going decently. Yeah, that was pretty narrow.
It wasn't a whole lot of road, but yeah.
I think it's got to go that way a little bit. There. Whoa.
That worked.
Yeah, they'll find. They like to find a way. All right, we're all loaded up. We met the nicest guys. just like I was just telling them, and they said same thing. You know, tractor people, generally they're all good. You know, I'm sure there's a few in the barrel that ruin it, but 99.9% of tractor people are good people. So you can't beat it, you know. Now we just have to get back out of here the way we came. This is a narrow road now, folks. If we meet something, I don't think we could meet another thing with a trailer, but I don't think that there's a lot of traffic on this road, so that's probably good. So I think we're gonna go, I'm gonna park the truck, and then we're gonna go look at David's stuff. He's got a little 500, that's how I met him, Oliver 500, you know, and he's the keeper of the flame now that Nelson LeCount passed away. So he's got the registry list, and anyway, so we'll get to see his 500, I'm sure, and hear about that, because they had one when he was a kid. His dad actually bought one from the dealer, and the dealer that they had here sold a bunch of them, which is pretty unusual to sell, you know, multiple 500s. So we'll make sure that he tells us that story, but I got to keep up with him, so I'll bring you back here in a little bit. All right, we are back on the road, headed out of here. It's kind of treacherous in some places, you know, because as per usual, me not being from here, I'm trying to take my time so I don't die, and the local people are probably fed up with that because they are used to these roads, and so they can drive fast. And so I don't know, I just have to pay attention so I don't crash and die, or the weight push me over the edge of the mountain, you know. But anyway, I just got done at David's house there, and I think I probably got enough footage that I'm probably going to make that its own video, because we were talking about the David Brown Olivers and looked at his stuff there and all that. So we'll see how that works out when I start editing, but that's probably going to be its own video. He's a super nice guy too. I was glad to finally meet him in person. I talked to him on the phone several times after I bought that 500 and learned a bunch from him about that, about how they work. And again, I filmed some of that today, revisiting that so that I can probably remember now when we finally get a chance to work on the 500. We need to do some 3-point linkage work or something, but anyway, that's a story for another time. You can see there's not a lot of margin for error here with the trailer, you know. We got a guardrail so we don't go sailing to our death, but if I hook the guardrail with the trailer, it probably won't be interstate worthy, and it's going to be really hard to talk somebody into driving 3 hours down here to rescue me. So I should probably focus on that, and I'll bring you back when something else happens, like after the horrendous accident. So I will do that, and then, you know, when we get home, I'll give you a tour of what I got, and we'll do some discussion. So yeah, I'll bring you back in a little bit. I'm trying to film something I saw on my way in here, mainly because Dad would find it interesting. But the post office in this little town, I'm thinking it's coming up on our right hand side. I have never seen such a post office. It's like a rollaway shed, and that's the post office, but I don't remember exactly where it was, seeing as how this is the first time I've ever been this way. But I remember some of the things that I saw after it when I was trying to figure out the name of whatever town this must be, which I still don't really know. But anyway, we'll see if we see it. It literally was the tiniest post office I think I've ever seen. So we'll keep trying to drive appropriate too, so we don't have any tire failure or hub failure or just general death, you know, anything like that we don't want. I think I still have 12 miles on this road, and I think the name of this town is Means, Means, Kentucky, huh? I guess shout out if you are from there. But you see things differently when you go the different directions. But I do remember I could see it more clear when I came the other way, because it caught my eye, because it actually had like a, I think it had a light up sign on it. I just thought it was an interesting little post office. They used to have a Family Dollar, and they don't anymore, but they have a Dollar General, so that's good. Every town's got a Dollar General or 3. There it is, little bitty post office, tiny, but I guess it gets the job done. I don't know, interesting scenery. That's one thing about, I'm not much of a traveler. I don't like to be far away from home, but it is fun seeing the scenery in different people's towns and seeing how, you know, how similar we are, I guess. People who live in different places, there's some different things, you know, you can tell by the way they do or the style of architecture maybe, but basically there's people just like you in every town, you know. So pretty cool. Simpsonville, Kentucky, I suppose that's where we are. We're about 8.9 miles from where I need to get on to the bypass, which will go around Louisville and then take me back over a bridge, and then it'll merge up with 65, which will take me home. So yeah, we just got to pay attention. I've done this before in a bus, and I remember when I did that, I wasn't exactly sure how. I mean, it's such a smooth transition. It just, all at once, I ended up back on 65, and I wasn't really sure how that happened. So, yeah. But basically, I'm just bypassing Louisville and going around, which I had to do this morning because the Kennedy Bridge was closed. I saw that yesterday, so there was no choice. I don't know now today if they're going to wait and close it again at night till the next morning. I don't know, but I know yesterday when I crossed it, it was down to like 2 lanes. So hopefully they got that fixed, whatever they're doing, because that's kind of a main road, you know. So anywho's, I'll bring you back again along life's way here in a little bit. So for now, hopefully it's going good, and hopefully it keeps going good, but we'll see. Failure is imminent at any moment, because that's how life works. Oh, friends, we're within dragging distance. If something bad happens now, we can just hook the chain on and drag it home. So that's pretty sweet. Want to look for some calves. Last night there were some calves apparently on the road, and some lady stopped and told me, and I came out, and I think they probably walked down the driveway to get out, and then her chasing them with the car didn't help, because then they were too far down. But anyway, I just was hoping that they weren't out again today. That was very odd for them to even have been out here. I don't see any of the bovines though, so hopefully they still live here. I closed my gates at the end of the driveway because of them today, so I gotta go open that to let us in. All right, guess what's waiting right outside the door? Buddy the dog. You've been wondering what's going on, haven't you? Because I've been gone all day on an adventure. And what an adventure, friends. Let's go out here and have a look-see at our treasure. What do you think, Buddy the dog? I think I am wore out and about tired from driving up and down the interstate for 2 days in a row now. Man. But here, friends, look at this treasure. I did not actively seek this out. This is an example of one of those that found me. David there, we met him in the video. If you get the Oliver magazine, you know that he's been in there, and you know, he comes to the get-togethers and things. And anyway, I got to know him several years ago, and the other day he sent me this message and he said, hey, would you be interested in a disc and also a tractor? And I said, well, I guess if the price is right. And he said, well, I got a guy that messaged me, and he said he's wanting to get rid of them. I don't know how he got them in a package deal, I believe, with some other stuff. So anyway, I said, well, send me some pictures and I'll see what I think. Well, as soon as I saw its face, I knew it needed me. So anyway, that's what it is. But it's a 550 diesel, friends, which the 550 has never been, and the Super 55 too, they've never been my absolute thrill of a tractor, but I like them. And after working on that one of the other guys, I should hate them, but I do like the way that diesel motor runs. So anyway, he showed me this, and then in addition to that, he showed me this disc, which, if you don't know, this is a 330 Oliver disc, and they are not easy to find. Now this one has some sins on it, but fret not, my friends, because right out there is another one, and it has some sins on it. So I'm thinking, through the magic of, you know, the time that I don't have, a guy could take the best pieces and make one really nice one, and then he could put the other one back together for one that if somebody just wanted it to use and kind of beat around on, you would have that too. Like I said, they're very few and far between, it seems, for me. Now down where viewer David lives there's a lot of them, because that dealer that he had in their town, he sold a lot of 500s, like the gas 500s like we looked at. You'll see, if I'm probably going to make another video, like I said, of the visit to his place, because I've got a lot of footage from that. But anyway, what I'm saying is that territory, I think there's a lot more of these down there than there is like up here. I don't know that our dealer ever sold any. Maybe they did, but I've never seen one around here come for sale. I drove several hours north to get that other one, and I think I paid $300 for it in not perfect condition. And this one, I figure if I use that same rule of thumb, then the deal between these two works out about right, you know. I don't have that much in them then, you know. And this one's got excellent blades on it, which the other one does not. So like I said, I can make one really super duper one, I think. And the red one that I have still has the serial number tag on it. So we can, you know, one of them will be nice, I guess is what I'm saying. And then the other one will be a user, or maybe it'll end up being a parts donor, because maybe it'll need more parts than what we thought. But boy, you can always tell one of these from a distance because of the hookups like that, and then the slanted top with the 3 holes. That's like a telltale thing there. So anyway, this here is what sweetened the deal for me. This tractor, yeah, I like it, but would I have drove 3 hours to go get this tractor by itself? I don't know. I probably would have passed if it hadn't been with the disc too. But this is how I like tractors. I like to drag them in and give them new life. And that's what I want to try to do with it. I don't know anything about it. I don't even know if it's stuck. I guess we could find that out right now. If I put you right there, it's probably stuck, but I don't want to cut my hand on the shroud. Oh, it's not stuck, friends. It moves back and forth. That's good enough for me. So we might be able to make that run. Now, I don't know what else might be not kosher. I did not think that the gear, these are terrible, so don't even look at those. We'll probably have to find totally different centers even, because those are pretty bad. I mean, they're pretty bad. That cut into my nice new floor, but that's okay. It's made to be used. Self-demounting rims. I don't even know if I can use any of those locks. Like, I think they're all garbage. I might be able to use the piece that they go in, and that's it. But what I'm getting at here is, I'm thinking there's some shifter problems. Like it's stuck in gear, or somebody pulled this out and thought something's not right. And I think that's why the motor only turns part way. Like right now, I felt like I could only go so far. And that's because I think that it's probably stuck in a gear, or stuck between two gears or something. Because when we pushed it on here, it did not roll at all. It didn't even try. So that probably didn't help it either, us dragging it, but we'll see. You know, if we have to pull the top off of that, that's not that big a deal. It's a lot of bolts, but if the motor turns over, friends, I think I can make a run. And I don't know how long ago it's been since this has ran, but if it, like potentially, if this has sat for like 15 years or more, we may be able to fire it right up. Just work on it a little bit and get it going, because it might have had the diesel fuel in it that doesn't turn to a solid. But I don't know. Time will tell. I don't know when we'll get to this. I always like when they get here, I think I'll just put them aside, but then I get so excited I want to try to see them run. But I've got so much to do right now that that's probably not going to happen. I'll get it unloaded off the trailer. We need to pull this and try to figure out, like at least pull the shifter and see if I can see down in there and come up with something, or pull the whole top off and figure it out. But yeah, the last guy driving it, he had Mexican food for lunch that day and had a blowout, most of the seats missing. I had a day like that the other day, you know. Never trust a fart, especially after eating ethnic foods. But anyway, we can acquire another one of those. Worst comes to worst, I have another seat off of a fleet line I could cut the tabs off of and make to this, but this is a common enough thing. We can figure that out when we know that the tractor's worth it, you know. First we gotta hear it run, then we gotta make sure that the rear end is not totally garbage, you know. Maybe this thing has sat full of water in the rear end and it's junk from here back, in which case, is it worth it? I don't know. But it doesn't look like it doesn't look like we have a lot of clutch left, does it? Or why is it so low? You know? Let's see what's in the story box here. Huh. Lots of treasure. Right? Sure. No, not really. There's a hook. Some hose clamps, linch pins. There's a couple old wrenches. There's a part of a horseshoe. There's an extension. There's a rust hole. No, not really. There's a drain hole in it. Part of a screwdriver. Just your basic toolbox treasures, you know. Miscellaneous bolts and nuts and screws. All things that'll end up in the tire. It's really hard to do this one-handed. That's what she said. There we go. Okay, so I think the future might look kind of promising, at least, you know, like I said, if it is not stuck, that's a bonus. Transmission, that could be a problem. I don't know. We'll find out. But these are kind of finicky. I mean, the bad thing, not a bad thing, but another thing I do not care for on a 550 is that basically you got to pull that top off to do almost anything, and then put it all back together, then find out it doesn't work, and then do it all again. And Molly and Dan can tell you about that. If you haven't watched any of those videos when he worked on that 550, he had that top off so many times, he might as well have put wing nuts on it. He had that down to a science. I bet he could pull a top off of a 550 in record time, friends. But anyway, like I said, is this super duper valuable? The tractor, marginal, average, I don't know, not a lot. The disc to me is the prize, because you can't find them, and so now I got enough to make one nice one. Yeah, these poor wheels, they are horrible. Another sad thing is the pictures, when I saw it, it had weights on it, but then the guy sold the weights and they torched them off, so that's unfortunate. I would have liked to have the weights, but that's okay. That's not a big deal breaker for me. It's a 550 diesel, friends. And I need to look up the year to be sure about this, but this appears to have been the kind with the keystone instead of the oval, which is what my loader one is. My loader one is the one with the oval, in which case this might be the mid-range 550. I think it was like the 770, and there were actually 3 different styles of sticker, and I think this would be the middle one, whereas that one I'm working on for another guy, his is the late one. So we can tell you that right now if I'm smart enough. Let's see. This is the 4th revision of a 550. Okay, 117523. Let's take a look at the old. Let's take a look at the Intermet machine. Let's see, just off the top of our head. What did I say? Stuff and things, numbers, 1. Oh wow, this one is close to a serial number break for a year. 1 5 2 3. Okay, so this would be a very, very late 1961 model, and by late I mean the 1962 starts with 117541, and this one is 523. So this one is one of the very last ones made in 61. Now the thing about 550s, they made the things practically forever because they kept it as an industrial tractor or in the industrial line, and they kept it up until till the end, until 1975 or so, as a 2-44. So the serial numbers go clear up into the 200,000s, 259,000. But anyway, you got to understand that when you read these serial numbers, it's not a simple matter of take the year before and subtract the other year and find out how many you made in that year, because they didn't do things that way. A lot of tractors were, in some of the years, the tractors were sequential serial numbers, so it didn't matter. The next thing on the line got the next serial number. Some of them are not that way, but you just have to know the rules. You have to look that up. So don't assume that there was X number of ones made until you physically pulled the build cards and gotten the numbers, you know, which I will probably call them and see if they have a build card for this one, then I can know what its story was in life, you know, whether it really came from down there or whether it started its journey somewhere else. Interestingly enough, I wonder if that broke off of there, or if the last time they used it, they had all of the electrical system disconnected. That's kind of interesting. The hood was already off of it when I got it, or when we were down there. I guess you guys saw that. Ooh, I didn't realize the muffler was that loose. It's supposed to be clamped to there. That's actually a nice, decent-ish exhaust pipe. And it looks like somebody welded it to the muffler or homemade something. It looks like a very heavy homemade muffler. But at any rate, what I'm saying is, I don't know if he tried to mess with it, or he wasn't really an Oliver fan, that guy that we got it from. He was more of an international guy. He was a super nice guy, Vietnam veteran. He's going back to Vietnam tomorrow, I guess, or Monday. And so, anyway, what I paid for this hopefully will help him along on his trip, you know. But he mainly does internationals, and I mean, I had a lot of fun talking to him and she was showing me pictures. He was showing me pictures of different things he'd worked on and the tractors he had there. And anyway, so 550 diesel. I think we might be able to make something with it if we just get we got to figure out what this is. If we want to try to run it, I guess we could just raise it up in the air and put it on blocks or something. But the problem's going to be we're going to need the cranking ability, and we can't have more stuff turning than needs to turn. So, but if I had to guess, I would bet that the thing sat outdoors and it got water down in here, and it might be that whole rear end is junk. I don't know. But we will find that out soon enough, because we may end up pulling the top off to see what's what, and then we can go from there. But I mean, I think I came out all right. I don't, it's a fairly complete little tractor. It's missing the cap for the top here, the bowl, and the actual cap. This is kind of a hard size to find. I actually have one, but I don't know. Maybe I can find just the two pieces it's missing, and I don't know. Whatever. The big thing that's got negative about it is the back wheels. They're just not they're just not ready to play nice, you know, but I know where there's more stuff out there in the world. So through trading and contacts and friends, it's very possible that I can come up with the missing stuff, but that's not a priority right now. My big this whole thing was not a priority, and it kind of is distracting me from my mission, which is the end of this month. There's an auction with a tractor on it that I want to buy. It's actually on auction time right now, and I am going to try my darndest to buy that thing, because I think we will have a lot of fun with it if I get it bought. And it's another one that it needs to live here, you know. I could do so much more for it than a lot of people. But anyway, it's just, look at how original this is. Still the generator. Everything's just like it was. I don't know how many hours are on it. Let's climb up there and look. Can we still read it? 4,700 hours. That is really not a lot of hours in the grand scheme of things, especially when you consider that one that we're working on for a guy has 9,000 hours on it. It also came from Kentucky, so, you know, have that as you will. The radiator hose is busted, but that might have saved it, you know. It not having water in it might have made it, it might have saved its life at one time. We don't know that for sure, you know. Maybe it froze and busted, and that's why. It's got some liquid floating around in there, not very much. It's got some scummy looking stuff in there. So definitely before we would try to start it, it will need a fuel system cleaning, which, friends, is probably going to be a slight issue. And I'll show you why. Let me get around to this side and explain the modern day plight of the parts warehouses and filter makers who don't understand the difference in things. If I remember correctly, this is a 3165 filter, and this filter is not the same as a 3166, but for some reason a lot of the places now have superseded the 3165 with the 3166, and they're not made in any of the same way. So I don't know if maybe it would work, but they're not made the same. So this one, actually a 3165 that has a rubber piece made to the filter on one end, and then it sits down. If you see them side by side, you can clearly tell the differences. So I'm not real thrilled about that. I've run into that before, and I even ordered one off eBay and it came as the wrong thing. Now, I don't get it, because that is a common filter that I think they even used on a lot of Fords. So maybe there is another source that I have not located yet. You know, maybe if I go to the New Holland dealer and order one for a Ford, if I can figure out what model Ford takes those, perhaps I can get the right one, but it's kind of a big deal because it's not just this tractor, but my loader tractor, that 1650 diesel, uses that filter as one of the filters as well. It uses a very similar fuel system setup as this, the 3165 filter, and then it uses this cast iron canister type deal as with a cartridge in one of them. It's got like a little sock in it, at least on the 1650 it does. And so that is kind of an important thing that we're gonna have to overcome. You know, I like to keep them original if possible, but it's crap when the places don't make the stuff you need to keep them original. So I'm sure that's going to be an adventure that we're going to have to learn about right now to do this, because before I would try to start this, I would definitely put different oil in it and fuel filters and potentially this line, because it looks like garbage, friends. And you know, we can make it. That oil does not look bad at all. I mean, that I've drug in some tractors here before that had a lot worse oil than that. So I have high hopes that this might actually be a tractor that would run, and it might end up being a real peach, and the only thing it needs is wheels and tires, you know. But I don't know that until we dive deeper. I notice some strange oddities, don't you, friends? And if you see what I'm seeing, what have we done here? What is this? It's like we got two different things going on here, and that doesn't make sense. The solenoid here is supposed to kick the Bendix out. And it's almost like they bypassed the solenoid. And is this not supposed to be connected to this? And then your battery cable goes up there, and then you turn the key and it pulls this. So obviously, immediately, I'm going to have starter issues, just like on the crawler, you know? I have to overcome starter problems before we can even play nice. But that's okay. What I'll do is unload this stuff off of the trailer, and then we will I'll just set it aside. I'll start gathering some stuff and formulate a plan here, and then we'll work on it whenever we get time. I want to get that dozer back together first and try to hear it run, because it doesn't need to be sitting there open. That is a big priority, to get that sealed up. And then, you know, if it would run and move, I'll put the blade back on it and park it out of the way. And then it's movable and runnable, and then we will move on to other things like this. I'll probably do this anyway, squeeze this in, but I got to get some stuff, you see, filters and everything. We got a lot of stuff disconnected. That's more likely heater cables for the, for right there. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why. I don't know. See, that's the kind of thing we're going to fight now. We're going to find things. We're going to find somebody else has been in there rigging it up. And what I would say that they did, just based on the evidence that I am presented with right here out of the, just looking at it, I would say they had a major electrical meltdown and didn't understand what they were doing. They took this off. They didn't need an electrical system. They just hooked this up to something when they wanted to start it. They jumped it or tapped it on the battery. There's a post of a battery. So maybe they did the ground cable, and they used it to spin it, and then they manually shoved this into the, you know, that you could take something and flip that into the flywheel while it was cranking, and you could stand here at the side of it and start it. And I have a feeling that's probably what they were doing to get it running, because this diesel will run all day once it's running. But then they had no electrical system of any kind to know anything of what was going on. So, you know, but that's nothing new. I've seen people do stuff like that before, especially on diesels, because they don't care. As long as it runs, they could care less what anything else is. So another bonus we have is about a year ago, I bought out a junkyard of Oliver parts, and there was quite the handy selection of stuff for 550s and Super 55s. So hopefully if there's some kind of problem, I might have some stuff. I'm not saying I would, because maybe a lot of the common stuff is already gone, but I might have some stuff, you know. So that's a saving grace for it as well. But I don't know, I'm excited. Another tractor for not that much money, plus a 330 disc, which you never get to find or see. So I'm getting you a nice view for the thumbnail here. But anyway, I'm saying that we came out all right on this treasure, especially since it doesn't appear to be locked up. That makes it even better. And if it would run, that would be even so much sweeter, friends. You know, some wheels and a seat, and we might be in business. We might be hunting for a rear end. I don't know. We just got to see. But you know, it's hard to say what finally parked this, but I would say that wheel meltdown probably had something to do with it too. And then when people looked up how expensive those rail rims are, they decided that's not for me. You know, some people do that. Oh, you got too hot, and boy are you hot. It's hard to hold it even, it's so hot. But anyway, as I was saying, a lot of people were not on board with spending money to fix those rims, because spin out rims are expensive, and I've seen all kinds of things done to get around that. The cheapest thing for this person would have been to find some rims off of like a combine, slap them on there and go. But you don't know the story, you know. Maybe it was an old guy and this happened at the end of his life and he wasn't going to do any more with it anyway, so he didn't care. So that was the end of it. But anyway, it's going to try to live on here, because I don't know, I don't think this is beyond saving. Some people are going to say, no, that's not true, but I don't know. If we can revival it, that's what we're going to do. And hey, it's content for you, so don't complain. You're getting some more cool videos, or at least I think they're cool, because I like to watch stuff like this come back around. So yeah. Oh, before we go, I got to throw in one more clip. Or not clip, but this clip is the clip that you're watching. This clip. One more thing I got on the trip, which was super cool, is this here brand new rebuilt carburetor for a Super 55. A guy down there had bought it thinking it would fit his 550 gas, and they use a slightly different carburetor, so he didn't want this one. And I gave him a couple $100 for it. That's what they wanted. And it's freshly rebuilt. So heck yeah, we're gonna have that, because the carburetor on my Super 55 is not right. It's made out of about 2 carburetors, so this is pretty sweet. We'll see that in an upcoming video as well. But anyway, we're gonna leave this one here. Like I said, I will put the video with David going to his house and looking at the 500s. I'll put that in its own separate video, because there's a lot of footage. So check that out. It'll be out a few days after this one probably. And as always, friends, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.